Hey guys, it's JM. I'm going to do a quick video on using a Synology NAS as a harvester only. Now, this will be much lower latency than mounting your NAS across NFS or SMB to your farmer. The harvester protocol is very lightweight, so the transactions and data transfer between them will be much lower. And also the harvester process is really lightweight, so creating a Docker image and running it locally on your NAS is just going to be much more resource efficient for your home network. I'm going to be running this on a DS918 Plus. It's just a 4-bay NAS. This is actually my home NAS. I have two drives in there that I use for my home storage, and then I'm just popped two drives in there as a test and filled it up with plots last night just to show you kind of what we're going to do. So I have just two 4 terabyte drives in a RAID 0 just for testing. Now, typically the configuration on a NAS would be JBOD only, to where you want all your mount points you just want as individual drives. And the JBOD mode on Synology, if you do just the JBOD mode, it does an MD80M, which is like the Linux RAID. It does the linear, which basically kind of like chunks all the drives together into one big volume. This sounds like a great idea, but if one drive fails, theoretically you could recover the data on the other drives, but it doesn't guarantee data integrity. So you don't want the blast radius of your NAS being one drive. You also don't want to use RAID in Chia, because obviously you're going to lose a lot of extra storage that could be valuable for farming. And when you and RAID 5 also has a huge performance overhead on writes, specifically because you have to write a parity to the RAID 5 to be able to recreate the data after drive failure. So generally the best practice for a NAS is to do like individual drive volumes. But hopefully they make this a little easier. We're working with the NAS vendors in the future to make it much easier. So the first thing you're going to do is basically fill up your NAS with plots, and you can obviously, once you have your NAS and your mount, you should mount it to your plotter, and then you can do that over NFS, or that's usually what I do. I just install NFS and um, mount the volume to my plotter. And if you're doing this on Windows, you can use SMB, and you already have your NAS, accessible by Windows. Obviously, if you have a NAS, you probably know how to use this. And then, so once you fill up your drive with plots, you're gonna copy the CA folder off your farmer onto the Synology into the mount, anywhere on the mount that you're gonna use, because you're gonna have to point the Docker image to the CA, because today you need secure certs to basically communicate between the farmer and the harvester. So after you do that, you're going to go install Docker from the App Store. And so once you install Docker, we're going to basically go into this Docker and go into the registry, and we're going to search for Chia. And there's a couple, but right here is the official one that says Chia official Docker image, Chia network / Chia Docker. That's great. We are going to go in here into the image. Okay, now that we have our image, we're going to fire it up and go into the edit. So we're going to go into container. We're going to add our image here and say next. You can call it whatever you want. Chia. JM. Let's give it a good name. And I'm just going to set the resources on default. It doesn't take very many resources. Run this container. Yay. No, we're not going to run it quite yet because we need to change the settings. So what we need to do is go in here and hit edit. And we're going to go to volume. We're going to add our folder for the plots. Mine happens to be in just /plots. We're going to mount it to /plots. That's the default, but you can put whatever you want there. Port settings, we're going to add the port for the harvester, 8447, TCP. Links, we don't need to add anything there. Environment, we're going to add something called CA, because this is a harvester only. We're going to have to basically give it the path to the CA folder. And then keys, we're going to say copy, because this is going to be used as a harvester. It's just going to copy the CA and do the init C on it. Harvester, change that to true. Farmer, false. Plots, you can put this to whatever you want, but we had /plots. My farmer address, my IP address happens to be 192.168.0.118, but put whatever you want in there for your farmer. 8447 Testnet, no. Full node, no. Time zone, I'm in Pacific, so there we go. Apply, and we're going to try to run this thing. So let's hope it starts, but I didn't screw something up. And now we're going to double click on it, and you can look at the log. Hopefully it says we found our CA folder. It was just in the root of the plots. And we can go into a terminal here if you want to. This is just completely optional, but if you needed to restart, right now there's some weird quirks, like the harvester may not refresh. The good thing about the Docker image is it gets continually updated, so as long as you're pulling the latest image, you'll get all the latest fixes from Chia. But you can go into this and activate it, and then Chia farm summary. It's not going to give us anything because we're on the harvester. You're going to say Chia version. We can give us the version. This is just pulling from main. So this is the same as 1.2.5. This is 1.2.6.dev0. And that's it. So we're going to find out. So if you want to, unfortunately, right now this doesn't support the debug logs. It'll be changed here in the future to basically support this. But you can basically cat the logs. It's no log yet. So yeah, there's no errors. So that's why there's no log. The log is only set, the log by default is set to warning or error. So if we don't see any errors, then we shouldn't see a log yet. So, now obviously, you got to figure out if this is working. So I'm going to SSH into my farmer, and we're going to, this is my little home farmer. I'm going to do Chia farm summary. And you can see there, my little harvester that we just added has 70 plots for a total plot size of 6.928 TID. So that was it. Pretty simple. Hopefully this gets processed a little bit easier in the future if you wanted to use the Synology as a total farmer or something like that. So thanks, guys.